Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Wisconsinite podcast. Kind of trying something new here. Um, got a whole new different setup. Was having some technical difficulties. Um, but this is a new show I'm going to be doing every week, probably every Monday, especially right after right after games, the day after games. So I can kind of talk about them myself, and then talk about them with Ron and Amy on Wednesdays. Make our picks and everything. Life's been kind of busy lately. Um, was buying a house and moving and getting all settled in. So yeah, hopefully it starts. I can start focusing a little bit on the podcast a little bit too. But before I do anything else, I want to talk about Beard Wisconsin, who has been a sponsor since day one. Really, um, they've been awesome. Can't thank them enough. Go to beardsconsin.com. Use the code WISCO10 for 10% off your entire purchase. Um, get a hat, t-shirt, hoodie, beard balm, beard oil. You won't regret it. Again, 10% off at checkout when you use the code WISCO10. And also, big shout out to um, Raising the Bar Sports Pub. Also, local hometown sponsor that came on the program on the Wisconsinite podcast. Um, and just I never thought that I'd ever really get a sponsorship for the podcast, and now there's two of them. They're both awesome. Stop into um, Reason Bar Sports Pub for beer, food, wings, pizza. Just it's an all around great time. Me and Ron were actually there Saturday night. Had a few drinks, but and also go check them out. Also, right here, Wisconsinite podcast merch. Go to camphacollective.com and get some Wisconsinite podcast merch. Ron's Guitar Lounge merch just launched last night. I ordered some stuff this morning. Can't wait to get it, try it on, wear it on the podcast, wear it all over the place. Um, these hoodies are awesome. They got hats, t-shirts. Um, yeah, camphacollective.com for all the Wisconsinite podcast merch. I mean, they got Matt Ramage merch too. He's got all sorts of stuff. So go check them out. Buy some merch. But anyways, again, this is a new show I'm coming out with probably every Monday. Chronicles of a Cheesehead. Had Beard Wisconsin kind of help me out with the name a little bit. I'm not that creative. But yeah, I was gonna do it last night, but again, it doesn't. I didn't get to watch the game, so I didn't really want to comment on it right away. The I saw about 10 minutes of the game, and you get the ball, and you automatically getting penalties, stupid penalties. Holding on a fair catch punt. That was frustrating for me. Really. Thanks, Dan. No, Amy. Well, I share with you guys every Wednesday. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I'm ecstatic that we won, especially after 4 straight losses. It was getting frustrating. But like I say, don't stop believing. There's always hope out there for it. Yeah, I just it frustrates me when you lose some games. Working on a cool gift. Oh, thanks, Dan. um, I get really frustrated when fans come out and say, "Oh, yeah, we need to clear house. We need to fire Goot. We need to fire LaFleur. We need to." Which I don't like Joe Barry. I haven't liked him since we hired him. That one I can get behind, firing Joe Barry. Which I get it. We've been holding teams to under 20 points the last few weeks. Those 4 a lot, but I just have not had any faith in him. Um, but again, it frustrates me when people just don't believe. I mean, look at Aaron Rodgers. He was not he was not the guy for a lot of people coming into his first season as a starter because we just traded away Brett Favre. Um, I haven't lost faith in Love at all. I'll say it. I've said it before. I'll say it again. He's our quarterback of the future. Um, just relax. It doesn't make any sense to, a lot of these mistakes aren't all on Love. You got to understand that. And I just try. It's kind of hard to come up with the words because it's just frustrating to see all these people crap on him week after week after week after week. Even when we win, I mean, they still crap on him. Which I know people crapped on Rodgers. So yeah, I don't know. I hope people start getting a little bit more faith in him going forward. I believe in Matt LaFleur. I don't. His play calling is pretty questionable. I think he should give up play calling. Maybe not 100%, but a lot of it, just to see how it goes. And it came out a couple weeks ago that they were trying to replicate the Dolphins, which cool. The Dolphins suck right now. They're undefeated against teams with a losing record. That's all they got going for them. They play a horrible team, they're going to win. So, I don't know. Something's got to change. I get it. We won yesterday, but something's got to change with the play calling. There's still no creativity, really. We saw all the creativity week 1 against Chicago, but haven't seen it since. But again, you got to take it 1 week at a time. You guys have a quarterback who is just now starting as receiver. I agree, Dan. Youngest team in the league and youngest overall youngest team in the league. Especially when your number 1 wide receiver is in his second year. And your number 2, well, number 2 is kind of a toss-up between Dobbs and Reed, which Reed has had some headaches dropping the ball, Dobbs dropping the ball. Musgrave is starting to shine a little bit, but like I said, you need to give it time. And that's really all I got to say. You got to give it time. Goot came out and said, these next the rest of the season's really gonna determine how they feel about Love. You got to give him more than 1 year starting. I mean, I get it. He's in his fourth year. Um, yeah, Watson and Dobbs are both in their second year, and they're wide receiver 1 and 2. Everybody else is also very young. Um, but I mean, look at how Watson did last year, that breakout game against Dallas. So you never know what's going to happen. I still see us getting a wild card spot. I mean, I feel bad for Kirk Cousins tearing his Achilles. But you never know. He might bounce back like Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers, I just saw a video before I went live. He was dropping back for passes. He just had surgery 2 months ago. Um, but yeah, I don't really have any much more to say on the topic. So I kind of want to talk about Council leaving Milwaukee for Chicago. I knew he was going to leave. I knew that Cousins won't be back this year. Yeah, he won't be back. I can see him being ready for training camp, but even that's going to be a stretch. But anyways, talking about Council, um, spent nearly a decade with Milwaukee. Um, 5 playoff appearances, I believe it's 3 NL Central titles, um, including this year. We didn't get to make it to a game this year, but I just I want to thank him for everything that he's done for Milwaukee. But why go to Chicago? Why would you go to Chicago? I get it. You didn't get the Mets job, but which again, I thought 100% that Council was going to get the Mets job, and I was pretty pissed off when I saw that Chicago got him, even though Chicago has a manager already, David Ross. So Cubs. Craig Counsell went to the Cubs. Um, yeah, um, I believe so. Chicago gave Counsell a 5 year contract, five million a year. Milwaukee gave him a $5.5 million a year contract. I don't know for how long, but from what I hear, Counsell was pretty fed up with what he's been given over his decade with the team. Definitely should have made it to at least one World Series. Nothing but injuries, and then Corbin Burns, Antanasio kind of pulling Burns through the ringer, which um, that was pretty frustrating. I mean, you have your best pitcher on the team, and you take him to arbitration over $75,000. Just pay the man. You're going to have to pay him anyways if you want to keep him, which Milwaukee does not keep anybody they have to overpay for. Really, the last person that they paid a lot of money for was Yelich, and he's been nothing but injury, 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 injury over since he got his contract, just like Ryan Braun. which I know Yelich doesn't do PEDs like Braun did, but I don't know. And we traded for Sabathia in 2011, and we're extremely close to a World Series then. But I just wish we could have kept Counsell. Like I was saying, I commented on, I can't remember what, I think it was Wisco Fanatics. Look them up on Facebook. I commented, the hero becomes the villain, which I don't know how much, I hate to say it, but I hope he doesn't succeed the way he did in Milwaukee as he does in Chicago. I really hope he doesn't, because one, it's a division rival, and two, he used to manage the Brewers. Yeah, there's no bad blood between Counsell and Milwaukee, but on the other hand, it just pisses a person off to see my favorite manager that we've had go to a division rival. I mean, it's just like when Brett Favre went to Minnesota. If there's no bad blood between Counsell and the Brewers, then it shouldn't be as bad as when Favre went to Minnesota, because Favre only went to Minnesota to play Green Bay, because they play Green Bay twice a year. And Counsell's going to see Milwaukee a lot. But I do not see Counsell being there his whole contract. I give him 2 years. Mark that down right now. I believe that Counsell will not be there in 3 years. I believe he will want out, because it is a very dysfunctional franchise, baseball club, whatever you want to really call it. And Cubs won another World Series. They're a bigger franchise because they've been around a lot longer. They're willing to pay them because they have all this money. Milwaukee is not willing to pay big money because they're a small market team. I mean, they were threatening to leave Milwaukee. So I just, whoever they replace Counsell with is gonna have some pretty big shoes to fill. I haven't seen anybody really up for contention, which I know they were already anticipating Counsell leaving after this past season. So obviously they've obviously been looking for another manager. No, Milwaukee is, or the Brewers extended their lease with Milwaukee for, I think it's 50 years. So it's nothing about job security. It's really just the talent that Counsell has gotten. I mean, imagine if he had a roster like the Yankees, which that he wouldn't want to go to the Yankees because it's that would be over frustrating for him. I know he's only used to managing a small market team, so going from Milwaukee to New York, like the Mets too. Um, I don't think he would have been able to handle it. But I heard that the Nashville Sounds manager was in contention. I'm sure some of the bench coaches are in for contention for the manager's job. But if they do go internally, that's awesome. Especially the Nashville Sounds manager. He's got a lot of talent. He's worked with these younger guys. He knows what they can do. But on the other hand, you want somebody with more managerial experience at the MLB level. So I know Buck Showalter is out looking for a job, but they won't hire him. He's older. He's kind of stuck in his ways. He's not open for suggestions really, but it's it's going to be interesting. I mean, I remember when Green Bay hired LaFleur. I never heard him at LaFleur at all, ever. I never heard of him before Green Bay hired him. And I'm like, okay, we're going to hire this no name ex offensive coordinator, quarterbacks coach, tight ends coach as our head coach, which yesterday he got his 50th win. And he was the second fastest coach in Green Bay's history to get to 50 wins. And you can probably guess who was the fastest, and that was Vince Lombardi. So, anyways, I'm kind of getting off the topic here. I wish, but don't wish nothing but the best for Craig Counsell. But I hope that Milwaukee beats the crap out of them every single time. But yeah, that's all I really got to say tonight. I didn't really prepare anything. I'm sure Amy will comment about that. Um, but yeah, this will be the new basement bar slash podcast studio. Um, I got this flag up here because I don't have any drywall, as you can see. I don't have any drywall on the wall. Need to do that. Got some plans for it. Big plans. Maybe I'm wearing the Wisco dive bar hat. Once once I get this place finished, maybe Jared can come here. he'll he I don't know if he would or not, but um, it'll be this is gonna be awesome having my own podcast studio here at the new place. So yeah, it's we can hook you up with a better hat. I got this because I got it from Jared. Um, Jared's an awesome guy. But Dan, if you want to make me a hat, you can go ahead. um, yeah, podcast. Yeah, let's do that, Dad. Podcast live from deer camp. Not gonna be a lot of people up this year, so it'll be kind of quieter. um, what color? Amy, you shush. You don't need any more. I need more hats. I don't know, Dan. Nothing, nothing pretty. um, I like gray. My Wisconsin podcast hat is brown. Um, but yeah, I'm excited to have podcast studio. It'll be work in progress once I get it. Trucker hat. I like the Richardson hats. But once I get this bar done, podcast studio done, do a little tour. Um, I got all my Packer, Badger, and Brewer stuff hung up. I got some signs hung up, so just be the matter of finishing it. So, anyways, I thank you guys for tuning in. If you guys have any suggestions or auto caps, okay, I'll take your word for it, Dan. um, if you guys have any suggestions on what to talk about, segments and stuff, uh, send me a message on Instagram or Facebook. I know this is streaming on Facebook. I couldn't get to stream on Instagram, but this is a whole new format I'm trying out here so I can post this to other platforms and I'm not just on Facebook Live. Um, yeah, this hasn't been the best stream, but um, thank you guys for tuning in. Go to beardsconsin.com. Use the code WISCO10 for 10% off your entire purchase. Hats, t-shirts, hoodies, beard balm, beard oil. Also, stop in for a beer, some food at Raising the Bar Sports Pub in Clear Lake, Wisconsin. But yeah, this was the first episode of Chronicles of a Cheesehead. um, we'll catch y'all later. Go Pack Go.